Check it out. Happy Memorial Day weekend. In this video, we are gonna change the battery, fix the battery cable, and rebuild the Keihin constant velocity carburetor. I hope you enjoy the show. Brand new batteries all installed, and we get got a cold start, but when I first tried to start this thing, it was a little flaky, so I think we're going to replace this terminal. Okay, nice new terminal, so hopefully all the amps get to the battery where they belong, or to the starter where they belong. Well, I'd say that's working a lot better. Alright, let's do something with the air cleaner and go forward from there. Okay, I put the air cleaner on. I've had it running for a couple of minutes. And if, I still have the choke all the way on, but if you gun it up, so I still don't think the fuel is quite right, the carburetor is quite right. So I think I'm going to take the gas tank off and see what's going on there. Maybe change the fuel filter too. I mean, I really want this thing to be a daily driver, and you know, it's not quite there. Alright, the gas tank is out. Just 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip the hose and unclip right here. I don't know if you guys could see it. The fuel gauge. So here's the carb. No big surprises. I'm just taking a quick look at it to see. I don't think this has ever been out. So let's get it out of here, and hopefully it's not all that hard to rebuild. No surprises. I mean, it says it's a Keihin carburetor. Normally the Keivins are flat on top. It's a constant velocity carburetor, and you guys know how much I like those. So the temptation will be to put a 250X carburetor on it. I guess I could reach in to get the choke, right? Yeah, that is a temptation. I just took the air cleaner off, easy enough, right? Loosen that clamp, 7mm, take the two 10mm out here, and all is good. Anyway, I was just checking to see where this hose went, and it goes to the fuel pump, and quite honestly, it's not doing anything. I'm wondering if this thing has a fuel pump problem. Now, one always kind of gets into this trouble with this junk, right? Do you put it back together again without tearing the carburetor off? And see if that fixes it. And if it does, then you don't have to go through all that trouble. If it doesn't, and you put it all back together again, right, now you're in the same problem. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this back, hook it up, feed some fuel into here, and see if it runs better. I would anticipate not. This big gas tank is really above the carburetor, so I'm not quite sure why they went through the trouble of putting a fuel pump on it, right? To me it looks like more trouble than it's worth, but let's assume they know what they're doing, hook it up properly, and go forward. So the carburetor is loose. Hopefully this video isn't like 2 hours long. I broke these loose. So we're going to work at not losing anything. I got a pan right here. Got things at a nice height. I cleaned the pan off well before I started. So anything that ends up in this pan now is coming from the carburetor. It's always interesting to see what's in it, right? Whether it just has some water in the bottom, which will make life easy. I did hook up the fuel pump. It didn't seem to help at all. The way it was running. I don't think this carburetor has been apart before now. Well, there is some bad news in there, right? Could you guys see it here? There you go. I think you guys could see it. So we'll get that out of there. I got to take these jets out. There is some dirt and some, yeah. I don't know. Could you guys see the gel? That's never helpful. Anyway, let me get some more tools. Okay. So a few things. Let me make sure I'm showing it to you. All right. So this guy is the jet that makes it accelerate and so forth. And I don't know how well I'm showing it to you. It is, it's dirty. Right, looking down the center, you cannot. So this thing is dirty. It does need a carburetor clean. And the smaller guy, once again, let me just make sure I'm showing it to you. Smaller guy is idle, and it looks clean actually. Be careful when you take some of this stuff apart. Things could fall out, and if you lose them, then it won't run again. So here's the float and the fuel valve. Just off the top of my head, they look pretty clean. They don't look bad. Yeah, there's another jet in here that will come out with a small screwdriver. I don't think that one's loose. Then I got to get a small screwdriver to take out the mixture jet. So, more stuff. As you take this apart, particularly these jets, make sure you got a good screwdriver, the best screwdriver in your collection. Yeah, that guy's dirty also. So, I'm thinking this carburetor needed a cleaning. And then, this is the jet that you adjust the idle with. Before you take it out, tighten it up until it bottoms out. 1, 2, 3, 3.5 half turns, about expected. So that just kind of gives you a place to go should you forget to tighten it down first. So it's about 3.5 half turns from the bottom. There's also a spring on this. Don't lose that. Okay. A lot of times I recommend getting these hoses off of here, because as you move the carburetor around, it's easy to have this flip the smallest valve you have in your entire mess out. One could take this off also. I'm going to try not to. Now, there are some holes in here, like you can see one there, right? So you want to push some solvent through there, you know, these holes here, through there, through the bottom. I'm actually using some official stuff. When I do this, I'm also going to kind of do it over the pan, just in case some uncharted piece comes whipping out of here. Right, that way I don't lose it. Not a bad idea to kind of catch the solvent in a pan anyway. That way it kind of evaporates without going into the environment. I have a well. Many of you guys do. And even if you don't, why put stuff in the groundwater that you don't need to? Just a little general cleaning. This right here is, I mean, you could call it the choke. It's really kind of an enrichment valve situation. I'm just making sure all its paths are clean. You guys can hear the different sounds as I'm pushing solvent through. Okay. I already told you guys that I like these little cans of air. They come from the dollar store. I like them because I feel like I have a little better control over it. I feel, doesn't feel like it wanders as much in my hand. Okay, I think the body is good. I already cleaned out the bowl. I don't know if I'm showing it to you, but whatever that jello stuff is, it actually etches the aluminum. This is a real Keihin carburetor. I could tell because the aluminum looks less porous, particularly with the bowl. So anyway, I'm going to clean up the jets now, then we'll reassemble it. So hopefully you can see it, right? The holes are all clear. There you go. So this is the main jet. Now that it's clean, I'm gonna install it right now. Okay, this little guy's particularly, those holes are clear, but the center is plugged right up. And there's quite a bit of goo on it. I'm using my sweatshirt as the clean rag because I know it'll be washed again and it'll be ready for the next time I have to clean a carburetor. See, as you look down the center on this little guy, it's clear now. So obviously that was a problem. This is the short little guy. It's clear. Here's the idle mixture with the spring. You guys can see it's a good idea why it's a good idea to have a pan. You got to make sure the spring kind of settles into place. 1, 2, 3, and a touch more. All right, now it's just a matter of putting the float back together. Now to clean the fuel area where the fuel comes in, a little solvent. A Q-tip. It really looked pretty good. Make sure you don't leave any fur behind. On some of these guys, they kind of do it cheap. They mill it out cheap. So when you go in here with the Q-tip, you can leave a Furby behind. Well, I'll give you a hint. That's not going to help your fuel valve close properly. Now, the needle valve looks good, right? I don't feel anything growing on any of these. It actually looks pretty good. Sometimes with these, less is more. I'm just making sure there's no Furbies left behind. I'm not seeing any water that was left in the carburetor. Right, a lot of times when you dump the carburetor out, as I have, you would see water left behind. Anyway, so this goes right there, and you put, put the pin back in, and now it's just a matter of putting the cover back on, right? No spare parts. I'll smash the cover on, and we're ready to put it back on this thing. Let's hope it runs better. I'm just looking at the fuel filter. Maybe I'm going to pull the lines, change the fuel filter to, that seems to be a good idea. Right, all this junk in the carburetor's probably from that. Carburetor's done, it's all put back together again. I let it warm up for a few. And let's give it a start. The choke is off. To race up. When I first started it didn't run very well, so I changed the fuel filter. I just cleaned it before, now it's been changed. And I went with one of those mesh fuel filters, not paper, and it seems to like that a lot better. Anyway, I'm going to smash the GoPro on. We'll get this thing out for another ride. Here we are. Hopefully everything's adjusted up nice. This thing is really comfortable. It's a neutral. Is that reverse? There we are. We're low, I guess. Be able to wind it up a little more. It's warm. I heard the fan run. Let's go with high. Oh, I have a torque converter issue. Transmission issue. That's what 30 looks like. Yeah, I don't know what that slippage was. I wouldn't call this a romping machine, by the way. That's a little over 30. This would be a good machine, I think, to put like one's wife on. Right? It's got a nice big footprint, stable as a rock. It's got a lot of power. I don't know what that slip sliding was. Yeah, excuse me while I duck the branches. One time I was coming through here, I took a smack in the face with poison ivy. That was way early when I first got this place. I kept poison ivy on my hairline and in my hair, you know, on the scalp. Yeah, this thing, yeah, those are thorns, by the way. That might have been poison ivy. That slippage was. It seems to be over it now. I don't have that much fuel in it. I drained most of the gas out to work on it, and I kind of spread it around around a bunch of other things just in case the gas was a little bit off, a little old or whatever. So it seems to idle, it seems to do everything it's supposed to. We're back in low. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think it's going to be a nice machine to have around the horde, particularly if I have a non-rider. looks like you could get 30 in low. I don't know if this is good for it. Can't tell. I guess I'm in low. I think I'm in two-wheel drive. Oh yeah, she's got a little bit of steering width here. Oh, I do have some brakes. Isn't that a good thing? Wait a minute, that wasn't low. That was high. I think that's low. Well, we're going for reverse. This is low. That's high. I'm just curious for how, like I'm doing 20, 15. Curious to how fast it'll go. All right. I don't know, did that feel like almost 40? Yeah, I don't know too much about this thing, so you guys are getting the first ride with me. I wish it kind of had it's got a kind of a high, and it's got a low. For me, it strikes me as if the best place would be in between the two. Yeah, and high, to me it feels like it's wearing the belt a little bit. Okay, well, I think it's fixed. I want to thank you guys for dropping by to watch and comment and subscribe. Please remember, feet down, heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.